नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. It's a new chapter we are beginning, chapter 6. The killing of the demon Putana. This is a chapter summary by Prabhupada. I'll read that. Then we'll read text number 1. A summary of the 6th chapter is as follows. When Nanda Maharaj, following the instructions of Vasudeva, was returning home, he saw a great demoniac woman lying on the road. And then he heard about her death. While Nanda Maharaj, the king of Vraja, was thinking about Vasudeva's words concerning disturbances in Gokula, he was a little afraid and sought shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Hari. Meanwhile, Kamsa sent to the village of Gokula a Rakshasi named Putana, who was wandering here and there, killing small babies. Of course, wherever there is no Krishna consciousness, there is the danger of such Rakshasis. But since the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself was in Gokula, Putana could accept nothing there but her own death. One day, now this is the story of Putana now. One day, Putana arrived from outer space in Gokula, the home of Nanda Maharaj, and by displaying her mystic power, she assumed the disguise of a very beautiful woman. Taking courage, she immediately entered Krishna's bedroom without anyone's permission. By the grace of Krishna, no one forbade her to enter the house or the room because that was Krishna's desire. The baby Krishna, who resembled a fire covered by ashes, looked upon Putana and thought that he would have to kill this demon, the beautiful woman. Enchanted by the influence of Yogamaya and the personality of Godhead, Putana took Krishna upon her lap, and neither Rohini nor Yashoda objected. The demon Putana offered her breast for Krishna to suck, but her breast was smeared with poison. The child Krishna therefore squeezed Putana's breast so severely that in unbearable pain she had to assume her original body and fell to the ground. Then Krishna began playing on her breast just like a small child. When Krishna was playing, the gopis were pacified and took the child away to their own laps. After this incident, the gopis took precautions because of the attack of the Rakshasi. Mother Yashoda gave the child her breast to suck and then laid him in bed. Meanwhile, Nanda and his associates, the cowherdmen, returned from Mathura, and when they saw the great dead body of Putana, they were struck with wonder. Everyone was astonished that Vasudeva had foretold this mishap, and they praised Vasudeva for his power of foresight. The inhabitants of Vraja cut the gigantic body of Putana into pieces. But because Krishna had sucked her breast, she had been freed from all sins. And therefore, when the cowherd men burned the pieces of her body in a fire, the smoke filled the air with a very pleasing fragrance. Ultimately, although Putana had desired to kill Krishna, she attained the Lord's abode. From this incident, we gain the instruction that if one is attached to Krishna somehow or other, even as an enemy, one ultimately attains success. What then is to be said of devotees who are naturally attached to Krishna in love? When the inhabitants of Vraja heard about the killing of Putana and the welfare of the child, they were very much satisfied. Nanda Maharaj took the baby Krishna on his lap and was filled with satisfaction. Text 1. Can you repeat? Shri Shuka Uvacha Nandaha Pati Vachaha Shaurehe Nanda Pati Vacha Shaurer Na Mrisha Iti Vichintayan Na Mrisheti Vichintayan Harim Jagama Sharanam Harim Jagama Sharanam Utpata Agama Shankitaha Utpata Agama Shankitaha Shishuka Uvacha Nandapati Vacha Shaurer Namrisheti Vichintayan Harim Jagama Sharanam Utpata Gama Shankitaha. Shri Shuka Vacha, Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, Nandaha, Nanda Maharaj, Pati, on his way back home, Vachaha, the words, Shaurehe, of Vasudeva, Na, not, Mrisha, without purpose or cause, Iti, thus, Vichintayan, while thinking about inauspiciousness for his little son, Krishna, Harim, unto the Supreme Lord, the controller, Jagama, took, Sharanam, shelter, Utpata, of disturbances, Agama, with the expectation, Shankitaha, thus being afraid. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhai Charanar Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, while Nanda Maharaj was on the way home, he considered that what Vasudeva has said could not be false or useless. There must have been some danger of disturbances in Gokula. As Nanda Maharaj thought about the danger for his beautiful son Krishna, he was afraid and he took shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Controller. Can I repeat the translation? Shukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, while Nanda Maharaj was on the way home, he considered that what Vasudeva has said could not be false or useless. There must have been some danger of disturbances in Gokula. As Nanda Maharaj thought about the danger for his beautiful son Krishna, he was afraid and he took shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Controller. Purport. Whenever there is danger, the pure devotee thinks of the protection and shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also advised in Bhagavad Gita 9.33. Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. In this material world, there is danger at every step. Padam padam yat vipadam vipadam. Therefore, a devotee has no other course than to take shelter of the Lord at every step. Thus ends the Bhaktivinoda purport and translation to Canto 10, Chapter 6, text number 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the last verse of the last chapter, we see how Vasudeva had cautioned Nanda Maharaj that there might be some disturbances in Gokula, so kindly return to Gokula at the earliest. Now that you have paid your taxes to the king of Mathura, Kamsa, and you also met me, your purpose of coming to Mathura is met, so quickly return to Gokula, for there might be some disturbances. So this chapter begins with that continuation. Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shukadeva Goswami narrating to Parikshit Maharaj, he said that having received this advice from Vasudeva, Nanda Maharaj considered that advice very seriously, very deeply. That's being mentioned here. Nanda Pati, while Nanda Maharaj was returning back to Gokula, his hometown, Vachaha Shaurer Namrisha Iti. Vachaha Shaurer. He considered, Shaure refers to Vasudeva, the king. He considered the words of Vasudeva, Vachaha, seriously. And Namrisha iti. He thought those words of Vasudeva could not be false, nor without any purpose. Why should he simply tell like that? Suppose somebody came to your home as a visitor, as a guest, and then while returning, you tell him, please go back to your home, there might be some disturbance. Why will this person tell with no reference like that? Maybe some reason is there. One must consider, is it not? So here a personality, Vasudeva is cautioning, there might be some disturbances in Gokula, and your son is just born. And already we know that the 6 sons of Devaki died in the hands of Kamsa, and the 7th child was considered a miscarriage, and the 8th child also escaped Kamsa's hands. So many disturbances. That was in Mathura. But because Vasudeva knew, he exchanged Krishna to the girl baby of Yashoda. He knew. And Kamsa's target is Krishna, the male child. And that male child of Vasudeva was with Nanda Maharaj. So, Vasudeva was actually concerned about the safety and welfare of his son, Krishna, whom Nanda Maharaj didn't knew that it was Vasudeva's son. Anyway, Vasudeva, taking Krishna as his son, which is also true in another sense, Krishna was simultaneously the son of Vasudeva and the son of Nanda Maharaj. Both are true. So Nanda Maharaj considered this advice of Vasudeva seriously. And Vasudeva says something, it could not go false. It might not be without any purpose. And it may not be useless. Such advice is not a useless advice. This is an important point. So there are two aspects in this verse. One is this aspect, considering the words of Vasudeva very seriously. It was taken seriously by Nanda Maharaj. The second part is, and the moment he understood the words of Vasudeva and sensing some danger, he took shelter of Lord Krishna, Lord Hari. Vichintayan Utpata Agama. Considering the words of Vasudeva, thinking Vichintayan, contemplating Vichintayan on the words of Vasudeva, Utpata Agama. Agama, expecting arrival, Utpata, of some danger. Shankitaha. Therefore he became afraid. Nanda Maharaj became afraid. Shankitaha. And what did he do when he became afraid? Harim Jagama Sharanam. Promptly, instantly, naturally, he took shelter of Lord Hari. Prabhupada says, this is the natural response of a pure devotee. Whenever a devotee is in danger, the natural course for a devotee is to take shelter of Lord Hari, Lord Krishna, immediately, without thinking a second. That means he is a devotee. That means we know we have become devotee. Is one way to detect whether I have become a test, whether I have become a devotee or not. But we also have to check, right? How much I am becoming a devotee. This is one more check. So there are two checks given in this. One more check of a devotee is, he does not doubt the words of a devotee or the spiritual master or the Vaishnava. He does not doubt. If he is doubting, then he cannot be a devotee. Cannot be a devotee. It's a very fundamental qualification or a quality or the symptom of a devotee. Shraddhavan, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Shraddhavan. Krishna consciousness is for those who are Shraddhavan, faithful, not for those who are faithless. Not possible. So faithless people cannot execute Krishna consciousness. They have difficulty in practicing Krishna consciousness. But for those who are faithful, they will have no trouble executing Krishna consciousness. In one place, therefore, Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is simple, very simple for simple-minded people, simple-minded devotees. For those whose minds are complex, Krishna consciousness is very difficult to prosecute, very difficult to practice. They find Krishna consciousness very difficult, very impractical. But for those who are simple-minded, it's very simple. What is that simplicity? This is one example of that simplicity shown even by a personality like Nanda Maharaj. What is that? He simply believed the words of Vasudeva. Why should Vasudeva say otherwise? Simply anything. Similarly, in our dealings also, when we receive some instruction from the spiritual master or the authority, we should not think, let him say, he will tell so many things. No. Here we see the example. Why did he say? There must be a reason, there must be a purpose. Let me consider. But consider means you should also act. You may consider, but you must act. It should also lead to action on what is being heard or received. That is the symptom of a devotee. Here we see Nanda Maharaj, he didn't speculate. He didn't consider and reject it. He acted. His consideration was only for the purpose of acting. Now, what step should I take towards this advice or instruction received? How do I execute this advice of Vasudeva? This is a devotee. See how nice we can see in Bhagavatam, such nice, fine principles, even among devotees of that stature. There is one very nice story about a wise old monkey. I know how many of you have heard. Any of you have heard this story? A wise old monkey? No one? Okay. Once there was a king and he had his sons. And for entertainment for his sons, the king had arranged a lot of monkeys in his palace. Because monkeys means fun, it's just fun time. So the prince would nicely have fun with the monkeys. And the prince would personally feed a lot of delicious foodstuffs which was cooked for the prince. He would share with the monkeys. Monkeys had great time. Oh, we are getting Raj Bhog, Chapan Bhog. Amazing. So like that. They enjoyed. Every day was, they were waiting for the next day. Greatly hopeful. What is the menu for the next day? Like Krishna will wait in our temple. What is the menu for Raj Bhog next day? So the monkeys were eagerly waiting. Oh, nice prasad. So nice food stuff. So time passed like this. And this prince would also ride on some sheep. Just like a horse ride, So this prince is a small boy. So horse is too big. So the king also had a lot of sheep in his kingdom, in his palace. And this prince would ride on the sheep. So, this sheep, sometimes they would go to the kitchen. And because they also could smell nice, delicious foodstuffs being prepared. So they would go to the kitchen and try to eat some nice foodstuffs from the kitchen. Then the cooks, they would become obviously angry and they have to chase the sheep away. Now, every now and then, this confrontation would take place between the cooks of the king and the sheep. Among the monkeys, there was one wise but old monkey. So this monkey was very educated in Shastras also. Today, human beings are not educated. Don't think it's a story. Today, human beings are not educated. Those days, you can just imagine. So the monkey was well educated in Shastra, like Shukracharya, Shukracharya's instructions. Like that. Some 3-4 rishis instructions also this monkey knew. And this monkey also would try to advise all the other monkeys. So the monkeys were all well educated in Shastra, in scriptures. They were educated monkeys. So this wise old monkey, observing this confrontation, constant confrontation between the king's cooks and the sheep, thought like this. Oh, if this confrontation continues, we can't say. Because the cooks, whatever they would get at hand as an instrument to chase away the sheep, they would just pick up. Whatever in the proximity. If by chance they don't get a stick or some other thing, and if they get, suppose they didn't get anything, then the only thing available will be a burning stick. Because those days it was all firewood cooking, right? So they would just promptly pick up the burning stick and will not mind chasing the sheep. And obviously, when they take the burning stick and touch the skin of the sheep, because the sheep's skin is furry by nature, so it will get burnt. And then this sheep, for saving its skin and life, what it will do? It will run hither and thither to save its life. And there was a horse stable also in the palace, because obviously king means horses. And there was a hay for the horses. So what this sheep will do naturally, it will go to the hay stack and then try to roll itself to put off the fire, to save the skin being burnt. And very soon what will happen, because to save its skin, it will roll on the hay stack, and that hay stack will catch fire. And when the hay stack will catch fire, the horse stable is next to that, the horse's body also will get burnt. And there is one old treatment procedure by one great doctor by name Salihotra. So Salihotra is prescribed that for a horse's skin, if it is burnt, the treatment is the monkey's skin. It is the monkey's skin. There's a process for that. And then you apply that on the horse's burned skin, and the horse's body will become all right. So then this wise old monkey thought, oh my God. So very soon the king will not mind killing all of us for saving the horse. Better we go away from this palace to the forest. Then the other monkeys thought, hey Buddhu, you have become too old, you have become senile, you are crazy, you don't have any sense. Why all these things will happen? And anyway, leaving such nice foodstuffs in the palace, and the prince is personally feeding us, you think we have to come to the forest for some tasteless fruits? Why should I come? Why should we come? Then the monkey advised, no, you are going to see death very soon. This is my good advice for you. Please take it seriously. Hey, you old monkey, you go. You become too old. So unfortunately, the old monkey alone left the palace to the forest. The very next day, it so happened that in a similar situation, the sheep again went to the kitchen and tried to eat some nice foodstuff. And this time the cooks got wild and they thought it's not a stick now, it has to be a burning stick. In Tamil we say, Nalla matukku oru soodu. That means, a burning stick will be placed, that will be a lesson. They'll not make the mistake again. So like that. So they actually took a burning stick and placed it on the fur of the sheep, and the sheep's skin started burning, and the sheep actually went to save itself to the hay stack, and that hay stack got fire, and that fire spread to the horse stable, and the horses' bodies got charred. Some horses died also. Some horses were its skin was severely burnt. And then the king, by advice from the ministers, called this Salihotra. Exactly as this old monkey said, everything happened. And Salihotra prescribed the tallow of the monkey, that means the monkey's skin, as a treatment for the horse's skin, burned skin. And the king ordered to call all the monkeys, kill all the monkeys. So wholesale all the monkeys were killed to get their skin. And when this old monkey got to know about this in the forest, he lamented. So sad. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's guru, he used to narrate the moral of this story in this way. The moral story follows like this. Anyone who faithfully follows the instructions of his real spiritual master and engages himself in devotional service to the Supreme Lord unflinchingly, will certainly attain ultimate welfare. Those who contemplate that the aging spiritual master or advisor might be under delusion and may not know more than a common man knows, and thus follow evil companions, their friends and relatives and society members, will certainly meet with a disastrous end in everything. See, this is what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to tell. No doubt, that's why the Upanishads emphatically declare like this: Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata ghurau tasyete hi katitaha prakashante mahatmanaha. This is the emphatic declaration of the Upanishads, not ordinary persons, Upanishads. So this verse says, one should have absolute faith. Absolute faith means 100% faith. That means being absolutely doubtless on the capability of the spiritual master, the words of the spiritual master, the advice of the spiritual master. Should be absolutely doubtless. It is not that the spiritual master is well versed only spiritually and materially he is not well versed. Vyavaharically he is not well versed. Managerially he is not well versed. Practically, okay, Guru may know Shastra very nicely, Krishna very nicely, but my practical situation, what he knows, modern world, what he understands. That generation was different. Today's generation is different. What does he understand? He may not know the tech world. He may not know the society's mindset today. All kinds of, and so on and so forth. You can go on unlimitedly like this. Becoming judgmental about the spiritual master. Judgmental. Or the spiritual authority. Becoming judgmental. Instead of they judging, we start judging them. The position gets reversed, swapped. So, that is why Upanishad says, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata guru. As much faith you have on Krishna, nothing less. The equal amount of faith you should have on the bona fide spiritual master. We are talking about a bona fide spiritual master, not any guru. Bona fide spiritual master. Who's coming in the Guru Parampara of the Supreme Lord Himself. That kind of spiritual master we are talking. If we have faith on both the spiritual master, the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master, then for such a person, the import or the truth or the purpose of all the Vedas will be revealed to him or to such a student, such a disciple, not others. This is a very important point to note. Sometimes what happens in our practical life, in executing our spiritual life or Krishna consciousness, there are many practical things other than, see what happens, Bhagavad Gita is recorded and it becomes absolute for us. Absolute Shastra. Oh, we take it verbatim. But when it comes to practical direction, we think Prabhupada may not be practical. The spiritual authority may not be practical. He may not know all the aspects. He may not know so many things. He may not have the background. He may not know the history. All these things naturally creep in our minds. Is it not? And therefore, we hesitate to take their direction verbatim. Maybe we may have a reasoning, but that's not what Upanishad is saying here. But that standard is not okay. Absolute faith in the Guru Parampara. Absolute faith, and nothing less than that. Then you are recipient of Krishna's mercy, Krishna's revelation through the spiritual master. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made a very nice statement in the Vedas also it is there. Prabhupada quotes this: Achintya khalu ye bhava natam starkena yojayet. That means anything which is transcendental, beyond our material comprehension. That means any transcendental subject matter. Not only that, this is what we generally think, right? That's the first level understanding. The deeper understanding is any transcendental direction in instruction also. Any instruction in spiritual life is transcendental when it is received from the spiritual master or Krishna. And we should not use our material yardsticks to analyze them. This is the trap, practical trap. Sometimes we genuinely don't know all these things unless somebody explains. Now, somebody told me all these things, or I have read in Prabhupada's books, or my authorities, my spiritual authorities told me. So I become little sharp. Unless somebody teaches, how do you know? It all remains theoretical for us. We will follow Shastra very nicely. But Shastra also means direction. Shastra means actually direction for life. So we may think, okay, Shastra is there, but what is the application? This may not be the application, that may be the application, that may not be the case, this may be the case. No, we cannot analyze. We should not analyze and waste our time. If we receive an instruction, we execute. We have only time to execute the instruction. Where is the time to analyze, you tell me? And anyway, the spiritual master, a pure devotee spiritual master is giving direction. Why should we analyze? Just like Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. And people are analyzing. How can Krishna say this? It is impractical. He does not know. It is too much for Krishna to demand. See how people are analyzing Krishna's instruction also. Why they not analyze Guru's instruction then? And forget spiritual authorities. They will not be in count only. It's taken for granted sometimes. People take granted Krishna's instruction. Oh, it is too much for Krishna to demand complete surrender. Why did Krishna demand so much? And somebody remarked, Krishna is very egoistic. Yes, seriously I'm telling. I'm not exaggerating. Krishna is egoistic God for demanding so much surrender. They don't know surrender means protection. They don't know. Our idea of surrender means exploitation, demand, slavery. That's why you should know all the definitions from the Vedas and from the spiritual master. If we have screwed up ideas from the society, then that is actually misfortune. Because in this world, everybody is there to exploit. So that we carry that same idea in spiritual life also. Everybody is there to demand, to keep under control. That same idea we carry in spiritual life. Towards the spiritual master, towards Krishna. And that's why these conclusions come about. What is that? Why Krishna is demanding so much? When a father demands surrender from the son, and the father says, you just listen to me, that's all. It is not slavery. It is great care, concern, affection, protection. If you misread, then the orientation is wrong. Orientation is wrong. Or somebody has poisoned that child. That's all it means. So like that, the jivas are poisoned in this world by Maya. Therefore, whatever even Krishna speaks for our safety, our protection, we read it otherwise. Similarly, the spiritual master, we read it otherwise. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we should not think that the spiritual master is not practical. Sometimes we say, there's no logic in what Prabhupada says or in what my authority says. There's no logic. How can I follow Prabhu? I'm not convinced. This is another trap. I'm not convinced. How can I follow Prabhu? How can I follow Prabhu? This is exactly what Lord Chaitanya said. Achintya kalu bhava natam starkena yojayet. There is no question of logic, argument, material logic, material arguments, and justification, material conviction. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter, Conviction is material. See, it depends how deep you study Bhagavad Gita. We all think, right? Unless I'm convinced, how can I practice Krishna consciousness? How can I chant? No, it has nothing to do with that. Instructions from the Vedas and the spiritual master and Krishna are absolute. You don't have to analyze for its correctness. You don't analyze that. It is absolute. Apaurusheya. All perfect. We just got to follow. Having full faith on Krishna and the spiritual master and the Guru Parampara. It will work. There are many instances, maybe one or two I will cite. And more you come on this path, Krishna will give more realizations to you. And if you don't tread this standard, then we don't get realizations. We'll read, we'll practice, but we'll not get realizations. See, Prabhupada was very unique among all the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta. Bhakti Siddhanta was very unique, for which Gaurakishore therefore accepted him as his only disciple. Not easy to get a spiritual master. Nor the spiritual master will agree to take you as his disciple. He will not. He does not want. Because he is very humble. Spiritual master generally is very humble. He cannot accept a disciple. Cannot accept. Because he is so humble. Because spiritual master means superior position. But the guru is in such a humble state of mind. How can he accept some other jiva as superior to him? He cannot accept. So only because of duty and order he may accept. So such kind of spiritual masters we are talking here. So anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't apply material logics in understanding or executing the order or instruction received from the spiritual master. It's a very, very important point in our life. As aspiring devotees of Krishna. I'll give you an example as I told you. In 1970, when Prabhupada was having his manifest pastimes in this world, during the Rath Yatra in San Francisco, this episode took place. So Prabhupada had planned to come for the Rath Yatra in San Francisco, and he wanted to participate in the Rath Yatra and enthuse all the devotees and the crowd. But at that time, there was one group, I don't want to take that name. They were the blacks, basically, in America. So they saw, this is just before the Rath Yatra began, okay? They saw that the entire Rath Yatra is being organized by the whites, the white-skinned. And these were the blacks. And even till date, in the world, even in US, there's always two parties, the blacks and the whites. They never get along with each other, even till date. And more so in those days. So these blacks were very unhappy and angry that the entire Rath Yatra festival is organized only by the whites. There's no one black also. They're very angry. They said, we will see how this Rath Yatra will happen. Let's see. Then they tried to make them understand, no, spiritual master is coming, and we cannot stop this Rath Yatra. So there was no understanding finally between these devotees who happened to be whites and these blacks who were not the devotees, but they were not recognized by the whites, therefore they were very angry. In general, not because of ISKCON. In general, they were like that. Then, when one devotee got to know that Prabhupada is coming for the Rath Yatra, he cautioned Prabhupada, I would humbly suggest that you don't attend this Rath Yatra this year, because we're anticipating great danger for you. Great danger for you. And Prabhupada said, no, that's okay, I will come. He is a personality who is not afraid of anything. Then still the devotee insisted, no, Prabhupada, it's quite serious, because that group of people, as I said, I'm not naming that group, are very dangerous people. They're extremely violent group. They will go to any extent. including taking out guns and shooting on spot. They can go to any extent, basically. These devotees knew. Prabhupada didn't know about that group. Then this devotee explained about this group to Prabhupada. Prabhupada still said, my life is in danger? That's all right. I must come for the Rath Yatra. And I should attend the Rath Yatra of Jagannath in San Francisco. This devotee is still not convinced. See, again, sometimes it is so tricky, spiritual life. In the name of trying to protect the Guru, he is disobeying the Guru. Why are you over concerned? You have made your point. You have also explained. Again, you are given clarification. Still, Prabhupada wants to come. There ends the matter. You cannot step above the spiritual master. That's an offense. You have done your duty, given your clarification, matter is over. Still, the spiritual master wants, that must take superior stand. But still, this devotee, maybe naive, possibly, still he thought, no, Prabhupada must not come. So what he did, he arranged one more devotee to pick up Prabhupada from the airport. And, see, back planning. And then they were driving Prabhupada from the airport to the Rath Yatra site. Rath Yatra already began. This devotee purposely would beat around the bush and go different roads, hoping that by the time they reach the Rath Yatra end site, the Rath Yatra would have ended also. That was the strategy and plan by the disciple. Of course, with good concern for the safety of Prabhupada, no doubt. Somehow, when they reached, Rath Yatra didn't end. It was in the midway. And Prabhupada said, hey, Ratha is going. Go there. It was a coincidence, actually. And then Prabhupada said, stop the car. The devotee is stuck. He cannot do anything. He had to stop the car. He got down. And then he came to Rath Yatra. And that was the famous Rath Yatra. Prabhupada dancing with raised hands. In France, in this famous dance. And Prabhupada clapping. And Prabhupada, So that's the Rath Yatra. That Swami step he was doing. And he was jumping and cheering the entire crowd. The famous Rath Yatra photo we use in our promotions. So this devotee was shocked. How did Prabhupada come to Rath Yatra? Then still there also, he tried to insist, Prabhupada, please go away, to the temple. So it is not good you staying away. Prabhupada still said, I must be here. And I want to be here in the Rath Yatra. Though there is danger, does not matter. I want to be here in the Rath Yatra. Then Prabhupada want to go on the top of the Rath. Nearly Prabhupada goes on top of the Rath, That's why we also place Prabhupada in the top of our Raths. Prabhupada Murti, that was Prabhupada's standard. So then this devotee finally succeeded in not allowing Prabhupada to go on the top of the Ratha. So Prabhupada was very, very unhappy because of that. Why this disciple is not listening to me and understanding? So, anyway, of course, he may have a good intention, but still the point is, see, imagine with good intention also, still it is not okay, because it is an offense only. When the Guru says something, you have to execute that. You don't become judgmental. This happens in our practical day-to-day life. We become judgmental, we start analyzing everything. No, that is not allowed actually in spiritual life. Prabhupada, that's why he says, this word prapanna, even Ramanujacharya explains that. In fact, Ramanujacharya's entire Siddhanta is clinging on one major point called prapanna, Sharana. Same thing Rupa Goswami talks about. Sharanagati means absolute surrender, not conditional surrender. I will choose what I want to take or what I want to listen, and I will choose what I don't want to listen. No, that is not Sharanagati, as what Rupa Goswami explains. You should have full faith. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Sudrida Nishchaya. You should have full faith on the words of the spiritual authority, spiritual master, Krishna. The Vaishnava, you should have full faith. Krishna will guide me. If there is any change, again Krishna will guide me. If there is any change, again Krishna will guide. Why we are concerned? So we should not apply logic is what Chaitanya Prabhu says, especially in spiritual subject matter. Maybe materially you can analyze. Then you may say, is there no scope? No. What we can do is we can present our point and our ideas. And there ends the matter. That's all. There ends the matter. So the Shastra says we should take the words of the spiritual master verbatim. Don't think that is impractical or he does not know. Without knowledge he has given a decision, conclusion. These things don't happen with the spiritual master. He's omniscient. Prabhupada used the word. The spiritual master is omniscient. Like the Paramatma, he's omniscient. Krishna willing, he can know everything of the disciple and of everyone. Krishna willing. That's the position of the spiritual master. So Prabhupada himself tells one nice story in this regard. How we take the words of the spiritual master. This is called culture, spiritual culture. In the house, no, we are brought up. There's a certain culture, we call it a samskar also, culture. Spiritual culture. Similarly, spiritual life, devotee's life also, there is what is called a spiritual culture. Somebody should teach. Otherwise, we will not know. We'll think, what mistake I did, what was wrong in what I spoke. No, there is a culture. I'll give one example. Prabhupada himself mentions this very nicely. One place Prabhupada said, the relation between the spiritual master and disciple is like this. Just like one time, Prabhupada told this instance. One time, the spiritual master called his disciple and told him, there was a stick lying there actually, on the ground. So, one guru called his disciple and told him, pick up the stick and give me. He was going to actually pick up the stick. Suddenly he said, no, don't pick up the stick. He left it. He was returning back, going back. Again the spiritual master called, no, come, pick up the stick. He was going to pick up the stick. Again, no, don't pick up the stick. Just leave it. He left it. The third time again it repeated. The third time the disciple very promptly, humbly went to pick up the stick. Again on the spiritual master's order again, he left the stick there. Again he said, no, leave it. So Prabhupada says, this is the standard of a disciple. You just do what you are told. We should not analyze. Spiritual master knows better. Why he tells something, why he withdraws back something. He knows. He is very conscious. He is not old man forgetting what he has told. No. So anyway, Prabhupada tells this story. It's a very nice direction for us. So finally, that is why, if you see, Upanishad says, Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir, Deve, referring to the Supreme Lord. What Para Bhakti you have on the Supreme Lord. Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir, Yatha Deve Tatha Gurau. Yatha Deve Tatha Gurau. Yatha Deve. As much faith you have on the Supreme Lord, Tatha Gurau. Equal faith you must have on the spiritual master also. Shridavan Prabhupada also. Prabhupada said, I am the Guru for the whole Krishna consciousness movement. Finished. There is no discussion on that. There is no analysis. And you're all Ritviks, Prabhupada said, the matter is over. Why Prabhupada said that? Is there, then we start analyzing, debating. That means there is nobody qualified in ISKCON. Prabhupada didn't make any purity. Why all this discussion? There's no need of any discussion. Prabhupada said, I am the spiritual master for the whole movement. Finished. There's no analysis there. There's no discussion there. This is called absolute faith. Then Krishna will be very pleased. So, faith in the spiritual master is very, very important. But we should know why that much faith, that kind of faith. Because he's an ordinary person. Then what kind of person is? He's as good as Lord Hari. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, we sing in our temple daily morning. Prabhupada quotes this. Sakshad Hari Tvena Samasta Shastrair and Uktastata Bhavyata Eva Sadbihi. Samasta Shastrair Uktaha and Sadbihi Uktaha. Uktaha means it's proclaimed. It is said. So it is accepted. What is that? Said by Samasta Shastrair. All Shastras proclaim. And Sadbihi Uktaha, all great devotees also say, not some rank and file person, Tom, Dick and Harry. Great personalities in spiritual line also have said, what is that? Sakshat Hari Tvena. The spiritual master is as good as Hari. As good as Hari, not less. But he's not Hari. That's why the word is used. Tvena means as good as. Not that he's Hari, but his direction, his position is as good as Hari. And he has to be respected on par with Hari, not less. That is why we keep Guru's picture in the altar and worship. Not any sadhu. He is Parama Sadhu. The supreme among the sadhus. The best among the sadhus become the spiritual master. Not every sadhu. We don't keep every sadhu's picture. Although we have respect. Even here we have sadhus, many sadhus sitting here. We don't keep our picture there. He's Parama. He's transcendental. Prabhupada's picture we have. The Guru Parampara we have. Because who's there in the altar? Whoever is on the same stature of Krishna and Balaram and Radharani. Only them we have placed there. Tulsi is also one among them. Not ordinary. Not some ordinary plant. Tulsi is not ordinary plant. As most people think. Not ordinary plant. Is Krishna Priya. As good as Krishna. You can even say more than Krishna also. That is why we are worshipping. We are doing Guru Puja for Prabhupada. You cannot do Guru Puja for others. So faith in the words of the spiritual master is very important, without doubting. It's very, very important. Then we will advance very quickly in spiritual life. So we should not think that the words of the devotee or the Supreme Lord, the spiritual master, is false or useless. So Nanda Maharaj considered this very seriously. And then, therefore, so what did he do when in danger? He expected some danger for Krishna, his beloved son. Therefore, Harim Jagama Sharanam. He immediately took shelter of Lord Hari. And his fear was mitigated. So this is how devotees, when we are in difficulty, danger, we should actually take shelter of Lord Hari. Sukha dukhe bhule na ko vadane harinam korore. Bhaktivinoda Thakur therefore has told us, whether in a happy situation or in a distressful situation, take Harinam, Hare Krishna upon your tongue immediately and you'll be out of danger. That is the advice of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we should practically apply that when there is danger. Krishna! Rather we should actually shout. Not Ayo! Appa! Amma! Ah! You are finished then. You are finished. Krishna must come naturally when in danger. Balaram must come. Radharani must come. Prabhupada's name must come. You are instantly out of danger. That is the secret of the practice of our bhakti. Whether you have passed the test or not. So there are many such tests like that. Anyway, so we are fortunate that we have got a pure devotee spiritual master like Prabhupada, and we should have learned to cultivate that absolute faith on Prabhupada and his words and his directions. We are fortunate to get him as a spiritual master, and we should share that also with others. That is a perfect spiritual master. Perfect spiritual master. Stop here. Kantrad Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. I have an announcement. We will be celebrating Narasimha Jayanti on 11th May, Sunday. Celebrations will begin from 6 p.m. onwards. We will have Abhishekam, Sankirtan and Arati. It's part of the celebrations. And we will have dinner prasadam for all the devotees. So you can kindly come and take Lord Narasimha's and Prahlad Maharaj's blessings. Hare Krishna.